Feelings and somatic sensations go together, but are not the same. They are separate, but work in unison. Yeah, they are very much, they are, I would say, separate in the sense that us humans like to categorize things and make sense of things. They're not separate as far as our body is concerned, but in our conscious mind, yeah, we like to compartmentalize stuff. And so we can, and it kind of didn't signifies like our different levels of conscious awareness. So we can be consciously aware, and usually people are just consciously aware of what's happening in their mind, meaning we're aware of our thoughts, we're aware of our self-judgments, we're aware of our self-blame and our thoughts of how much we hate other people, stuff like that. Like that stuff we can be very much aware of, right? And that's like maybe one level of conscious awareness, but underneath our cognitive thoughts, I mean, really along with, but underneath it as far as conscious awareness goes. So underneath our cognitive thoughts are, at least in my mind, are emotional feelings. So sadness and anger and anxiety, happiness, that kind of stuff. So our thoughts and our feelings, they always go hand in hand, as well as our polyvagal state, but we might not be aware of our feelings. We might just be more aware of what we think about the situation, the thoughts that are in our mind. So that's, another level of conscious awareness. And underneath the awareness of our emotions, our feelings, underneath that is our polyvagal state, which we can feel through those sensations, those actual somatic sensations, like textures and colors and whatnot. So we can feel them, but then our mind creates this like explanation of what we're feeling. So we feel them as is, and then our mind will say, oh, it feels like sandpaper, just to sort of like, it has to make sense of the situation. It has to reference something that it knows. And so we'll feel heat in our chest maybe as we're in a flight fight state, or we'll feel pressure or something like that. And an image of like a rope twisting might pop into our mind, because our mind is like, I can conceptualize this because I've seen this before, or I've felt this before, and it reminds me of a rope basically, or of a knot maybe. There is no knot here, but the mind is creating a story to explain what's happening. Those can be felt just as they are, and that's different than feeling anger. Like you can just feel the tension in your chest without. I mean, you kind of also feel the anger, but it becomes something different. So there's these different levels of conscious awareness that you can get to that all exist simultaneously, but it might help us as humans to compartmentalize those as like, I'm focusing on this, and now I'm focusing on this, and now I'm focusing on this. But yeah, ultimately they exist at the same time, and there really is no difference outside of our conscious mind, if that makes sense. Dang, safety in the energy is challenging. Yeah, I'm in this situation because I literally was not safe. We are born with the capacity to feel safe, not just feel it, but to have those biological safety pathways activated, and the ventral vagal pathways, and there's this whole process of myelination where those safety pathways get myelinated. It's like this fatty like sheath around the nerves, I believe, that creates a faster way of I need to learn more, get at this on like a deeper level, but it creates faster communication in the safety pathways. That's the basic idea. It's faster than the other pathways. So that doesn't get developed unless we have healthy attachment. And so our capacity to feel safe later on in life is more difficult. It's not impossible, and it's not that it can't be developed, but it is more difficult. But we're all born with the capacity to feel safe. And if we don't receive safe and healthy attachment growing up, then it's just going to be a lot harder to feel safe later on in the future. So we get stuck in defensive states, whether that could be from, not receiving safe and healthy attachments, but that could also be, maybe we did receive and had really a great upbringing as far as attachment and whatnot. But when we go through certain events in life, certain traumatic events, we could easily get stuck in a defensive state due to that event. And so feeling safe later on could be a challenge. It's still possible, but especially around certain people or environments, sensory stimuli that remind us of the thing that we went through, that could easily take us out of our safety state and back into a defensive one, where that frozen energy really is still very much alive and now gets activated. That kind of sums up the basic idea, yeah. Somebody may have gone through something where they literally were not safe and they got stuck in that defensive state, or they may have been raised in an environment where they literally were not safe, and so they got stuck in that state. Yeah, in more of a defensive state.